The brand new Nintendo Switch 2 arrives on June 5th, and with it, a bunch of games at launch. Let's take a look at every game that is currently planned to arrive for the Switch on launch day. Of course, things are always subject to change, given our current climate, but at the moment, these following games have been 100% confirmed. Undoubtedly, one of the biggest games coming from Nintendo Switch 2 is Mario Kart World, which will be available day one for the system. In fact, it will be included as a temporary inclusion with the system in a bundle, at an increased price of course. The latest game in the Mario Kart series marks a number of changes, one being, it's now an open world, go anywhere style of game, kinda like the Forza Horizon series of sorts. Up to 24 players can now race at a time, which is the most in series history. There's new tricks for the racers, quite literally, with the trick system. You can ride on walls and grind rails, for example, which allows you to do things you could never do before in a Mario Kart game. You can still race in cups, of course, just like previous games, but there's new types of races too, including eliminator races. Of course, there's also new power-ups as well. This looks fun. I mean, it is Mario Kart, but it's also one of Switch 2's most priciest games, going for an MSRP price of roughly $80 for the digital and physical versions. Yep, the bundle deal is looking like the better option for this one. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is an app / quote-unquote game that aims to introduce new users to the Switch 2. Through information sharing, mini-games, and such, this will introduce players to several aspects of the system, including new features like mouse control, the new Joy-Cons, and more. Sadly though, this isn't going to be included with the system, as one would expect. No, you gotta pay for this one. Judging by the Japanese price, it should be cheap, but it's still a disappointment, nevertheless, that one needs to pay for this at all. I wouldn't be surprised if most skip this one. One of the biggest third-party announcements for Switch 2 in the recent Direct was Cyberpunk 2077 by far. Early reports from those who have gotten access to play it have said it's looking real good on the platform so far, and based on some of those reports, I imagine quite a few are excited for this one. The physical edition will have everything on the cart, plus the expansions and DLC, because it's the Ultimate Edition. I think this one's going to be a big hit for Switch 2. The cooperative multiplayer game, Split Fusion, is being prepped for Switch 2's launch. The team behind it previously scored big with It Takes Two, another cooperative multiplayer game, and they did the same with this one too. It's been rated as one of the highest rated games of the last few years, with overall scores of 90 or above on Metacritic and a 90% at OpenCritic. We're pretty sure the same thing's going to happen with the Switch 2 version. Arriving on day one for the Switch 2 is Deltarune, with chapters 3 and 4. A huge announcement for fans that have been waiting patiently for this follow-up to the legendary Undertale, and it's sure to please players when it comes out on June 5th. Switch 2 will be getting a special director's cut version of Yakuza 0 for launch day, and Sega is calling this one the definitive version of the game. It'll include new content, new cutscenes, and the online 4-player mode, with up to 60 unlockable characters too. Capcom's action strategy game, Kunitsu-Gami, Path of the Goddess, is arriving for Switch 2 on launch day. This is a rather new IP from Capcom, combines elements of real-time strategy and tower defense games, with plenty of action. It's been well received by those who have played it when it first came out on consoles last year, but it's still been a bit of an under-the-radar type game. Hopefully with Switch 2, this will allow more players to discover this great game. One of the biggest surprises from the Switch 2 Direct was the announcement of Konami's Survival Kids, a modern 3D remake of the Hidden Gem Game Boy Color game that was technically the first game in the Lost in Blue series. Players will be able to work together and try to survive, as well as play in a bunch of co-op party games together. From the looks of it, this seems like a far more lighthearted affair compared to most survival games. Still though, this looks like a lot of fun. Switch 1 received Hogwarts Legacy back in 2023, but a tailor-made for Switch 2 version comes out the same day as the system. As expected, this should be a major upgrade over the Switch 1 version. Not every game for Switch 2 will require you to pay money in order to play it. Yep, the first free-to-play game for Switch 2 arrives day 1 with Epic Games' Fortnite. I'd imagine this is going to run loads better than the original Switch 1 version. A version of Hitman, World of Assassination, will arrive for Switch 2 on day 1 in the form of a Signature Edition, which, with those who pre-order the game, will get access to cosmetics that reference various Nintendo and Mario characters. I think everybody's curious to see how Agent 47 will use a mushroom to complete, his mission. Sega will be releasing Pure Tetris 2S, which is a new version of Pure Tetris 2 made for the Switch 2, and it'll come out on launch day. While details about the new version of the game are scarce, what we do know is that it'll contain the new Pure Tetris doubles mode, where players can compete in 2 vs 2 battles using a single board. A version of Koei Tecmo's strategy game, Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening, will arrive on launch day in the form of a complete edition. This will include all the content updates and DLC that was available for the game originally, along with new content too. Freed from the 3DS, Bravely Default is coming back through a remastered release called Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, and this version will include new content in addition to the revamped visuals. For those looking to get the physical release, this will be released as one of the Game Key Card games. Game Key Cards are the new name of physical releases that require a download when the game is first inserted into a system in order to play. Certain physical releases for the original Switch had a similar situation, and you had to download stuff in order to play them too. Unlike download codes though, you still get to sell the game, get it used, and can use the game card on multiple consoles, so at the very least, from the old code-in-the-box thing that some games for the original Switch had. Fighting game Street Fighter VI arrives day 1 on Switch 2 with a special edition dubbed the Years 1 through 2 Fighters Edition. This release will include the game plus the 8 post-launch characters from the game's first 2 years, allowing Switch 2 players to get access to 26 characters from the very start. Also, for those aiming to get the physical version, this is another Game Key Card release for the Switch that we are aware of. Just like Bravely Default, it'll require players to complete a download in order to play the game for the first time. Shine Post Be Your Idol is a Japan-exclusive idol management game that will be available on June 5th. You'll need to hire members to form a group and manage them, book venues, hold concerts, create set lists, and etc. Looks like there's going to be a lot of visual novel elements here too. In Japan, the regular edition will be available for 8,000 yen, and a digital deluxe edition will also be available for 11,000 yen. Again, this is a Japan exclusive, so don't expect this one to come out to the West for a long while if it ever comes out here at all. Physical pre-orders have started for the Switch 2 version of Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster at sites like PlayAsia, and apparently it's going to come out the same day as Switch 2. No word yet on any changes from the Switch version, but the international version, which includes English language options, is being priced at a rather cheap $34.99. One of the first retro releases to arrive for Switch 2 comes out on launch day from Hamster through its Arcade Archive series, and it's actually a big one, the original 3D racing game from Namco, Ridge Racer. As far as we know, this is the first 3D arcade game for the Arcade Archive series as well. I've been a big fan of developer and publisher Shinen for years, especially with their racing games. Fast Racing League for the Wii, Fast Racing Neo for the Wii U, and Fast RMX for the Switch. Shinen is back for the Switch 2's launch day, the latest game in the series, Fast Fusion, and it's shaping up to be an amazing looking racing game, with them reporting that you'll be able to race at 60 FPS and up to 4K resolution. I'm drooling just thinking about it. If you like racing games like F-Zero and the Wipeout series, then consider this to be a must-get for the Switch 2. Shinen has had an amazing track record when it comes to quality, and I see no reason why they won't hit it out of the park with Fast Fusion. Now, certain original Nintendo Switch games are going to receive upgrades for the Nintendo Switch 2. Some will be free, and others will be paid, and typically the paid ones will add content beyond just improved performance and resolutions and such. Usually. The first two games to receive the paid upgrade treatment are the two Zelda games for the Switch, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Both will be getting better resolution support, clarity, performance, much better frame rates. It looks like both games are running at 60 FPS in all the footage I've seen, and while the screenshots don't really illustrate the changes, seeing the upgrades run in motion, oh yeah, it's a nice upgrade indeed, and the games look better than ever. Beyond the visuals and performance stuffs, the games now have the ability for 2 saves now, so you can keep your original save and start a new one, and the games support a new app called the Zelda Notes app. This keeps track of all your progress, you can earn achievements and such, and it can also guide you to stuff like Korok seeds, with a voice like a GPS system. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Plus it has the ability to move certain items between the two games. Nintendo has promised to show off more of this app in the future. For those looking to get the games on Switch 2, there's an option for the game and the expansion in a bundle, and you can get that if you don't have the game already. But if you have the game already, you can use that, and then you can choose to pay for the upgrade separate. Sid Meier's Civilization 7 is also getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition at launch. This version will come with better visuals, better frame rate, consistency, increased resolution, and etc., as well as support for the Switch 2 mouse controls. The latest game in the Rune Factory series, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, is scheduled to come out for Nintendo Switch, Windows PC, and Nintendo Switch 2 on June 5th. It's a pretty big day for Marvelous and Xseed. Expect a better frame rate and performance with this one versus the original Switch version. For those who have the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack service, Gamecube games will be accessible through its addition to the Nintendo's Classic service. It's something that fans of classic Nintendo games have been waiting for, and it's going to be available day one for the Nintendo Switch 2. With it, so far 3 games have been confirmed for launch. The legendary Wind Waker, which is looking gorgeous with its cel-shaded graphics. Fighting game, Soul Calibur 2, which of course being the GameCube version, this one allows you to play as Link. Finally, the third game confirmed is the top-tier racing game, F-Zero GX. With the new app, it'll come with customization options, like widescreen support for some games, the ability to remap controls, save states, and of course, online multiplayer. Also, an official GameCube controller for Switch 2 will be available for purchase from Nintendo Switch Online members through the Nintendo Store the same day that the Switch 2 comes out. So, will you be picking up the Switch 2 system at launch? What games do you plan to pick up first for the system? Let me know down below in the comments. But for now, that is it for me today. Stay tuned for more Nintendo Switch 2 coverage, and thank you for watching and subscribing. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you real soon on the next video.